Fresh off of his father getting his end times prediction wrong, evangelical Christian Matthew Hagee decided to lecture us about logic and reason and mass shootings.
Outlaw the gun-free zones. Matt, there's a reason that these shooters go to these schools and go to these places that are so-called gun-free zones. It's because they know that they will not meet any resistance, and it's easy for them to do what they do. And the reason we know that is that they have written about this. When they write their manifestos or their journals, they write that they choose these places specifically because they know there's no resistance there.
Well, and when it comes to logic and reason, listening to the vice president say we're the only civilized country where these things take place, that's not true. It happens all over the world. It happens in Europe. It happened in a mall in Africa. It happens in places that anytime an individual who has an evil intention believes that they are able to accomplish their will, they do so. And the only way to keep them from doing so is to protect yourself. And the only way to protect yourself in a situation like this is to match fire with fire. It's certainly tragic. It's unfortunate. It is horrific when things like this occur. But the argument is not that we need stricter gun laws. The argument is we need a change of heart. Why aren't we outlawing, for example, video games that teach children that these kinds of activities are acceptable?
Are you serious, dude? He was just ranting about you can't do any gun regulation, can't do any gun bans, obviously. Bans are terrible. We should ban video games. What the fuck is these guys are unbelievable. And I find it precious. It is absolutely adorable that a fundamentalist Christian just decided to lecture us about, quote, logic and reason. Dude, your dad predicted the apocalypse was going to be last week. You're going to talk to us about logic and reason. He said the blood moons signal end times, and there would have been a huge event by now. It didn't happen. Logic and reason. Go fucking lecture your dad about that shit. But of course, he believed it too. And then when it doesn't happen, he's like, oh, sweep that under the rug. No, did we say it was end times? Did we write a book about it? Did we do endless TV shows about it? Pretend that didn't happen. Oh my God, you're so fucking sad. So let's debunk this, and let's debunk this very quickly. Harvard study. This is their conclusion. It was a meta-analysis of all of the credible studies on this issue. Quote, where there are more guns, there is more homicide. So the idea that, we just need more guns, that's the thing, we need more guns, that's just factually not true. All right, next, how about their violent video games claim? Well, that's the problem, ban the violent video games. Quote, research led by psychologist Christopher Ferguson and published in the Journal of Communication not only found that there was no link between violent media and behavior, but also questioned the methodology of previous studies suggesting the two were related. So the evidence for both is the exact opposite of what he's saying. And to the point of, gun-free zones, that's the problem. They always go to gun-free zones, these mass shooters. That's the problem. Get rid of the gun-free zones. What's the real number on that? 13% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. Just 13%. The overwhelming majority are not in gun-free zones. So please spare me. You just don't know what you're talking about. And when he's mocking Biden, this is when he brought up logic and reason. When Vice President Biden says we're the only civilized country where this takes place, that's just not true. Well, you didn't finish the sentence. Obama said this, Biden said this, other Democrats have rightly said this. It's not that this is the only country where stuff like that takes place. It's the only country, the only modern country where stuff like that takes place on a regular basis. That is absolutely true. The statistics are perfectly clear. And just to give you them real fast, there's between 32,000 and 36,000 gun deaths in America every single year on average. Now, that includes everything, homicides, suicides, accidents, you name it. But even if you just take homicides, for example, that's between 8 and 12,000 every year. Every year. Go to other modern nations, they're just aren't that many, period. And it's because we have over 300 million guns here. Because again, I quote from Harvard, where there are more guns, there is more homicide. So I guess we have Matthew Hagee overriding the conclusions from Harvard and also from psychologist Christopher Ferguson and the study in the Journal of Communication, because his word is better than Harvard and this psychologist and this study. And we should take his word for it, because it's not like he and his father ever did something really stupid and ridiculous like wrongly predict end times.